you're not getting enough hours, so we need to address that, and obviously they're not treating you the way they should, because your employer's got a duty of care. They need to, regardless of what it's said in your interview or not, they need to make sure that you're having regular breaks because of your insulin and because of your medical needs, okay? So we need to address that. So stay aware. So I'm just going to make some notes.
I'd like to be able to give up the pub so I can, then I'd be able to go to night school to start training for a nurse, but at the minute that just isn't an option.
Yeah, of course, yeah, sure. Have there been any posts that have come up within the supermarket lately, like that you can apply for, or do the staff seem to sort of not change very often? Do you think there'd be availability for extra
I
hours?
don't really know. I know they've said to me before I could go to a other store, but I need to be close to home because of the cost of travelling and my pub work. So I don't really want to change job role
Okay, that's fine. That's something we might look at
with the new store. I'm concerned that if I refuse to go, because that is something my manager has offered as an adjustment, and that I'll lose my job if I refuse to go, and that the hours might even be worse there.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So you said about reasonable adjustments. What steps have been taken at the minute to resolve the issue? Have you been able to make any changes or voice any concerns? Have you talked to anybody?
No, I'm a bit too scared to have those conversations.
Okay. What frightens you about them? Just don't feel confident enough? Or?
Yeah, I just worry I'm going to get sacked, and I'm too frightened of my manager sacking me if I say anything.
Okay.
But I need that regular work, but I'm too scared, and then I have my financial worries as well, because I want to stay living with my friend in my flat.
Yeah.
But I'm worried that if I don't get those regular hours, or if they're cut even more and I can't get more hours at the pub, then I've got insecurity about where I'm going to live.
Yeah, all links into one another, doesn't it? Okay, so what we'll try and do is we'll try and tease out the issues and we'll focus on one at a time.
Okay.
And I appreciate they all link in, but we'll try and focus on that. So if we go back to the work situation, who's currently supporting you to improve your situation? Do you have a support network? Do you have anyone who's able to help you with that?
Not really. Last week my manager called me in to see him and said I was needed in the other store. That's when we had that conversation, but that is an hour's travel away, and when I said I was struggling financially if I had to travel, I wouldn't be able to do pub work, he did say that if I went to that other store I'd get more hours and better breaks, but I just can't do that because of the travelling. But I'm scared then if I don't go, because they've recommended that as an adjustment, that I'll lose my job. When we had that conversation last week, I had to leave the room because I got so upset, and then since then I've just been avoiding him.
Okay, but you're still currently in work, you haven't gone off sick or anything?
No.
Okay. Well, well done for attending that, because I'm sure that was quite difficult, and well done for doing that. I know that sometimes it is quite frightening when you feel sort of on your own and you want, and it is difficult to sometimes ask for what you want.
Yeah, thank you.
So have any factors made this situation better or worse?
I'm better when I'm with my flatmate, but I'm much worse in work, because I'm scared, obviously, particularly this week, that I'll bump into the manager. And then I also tend to worry when I'm at the pub. I enjoy that work, but I get worried that I'm not doing a good enough job. People say I'm alright there, but I get a bit worried about it.
Okay, do you talk about any of those concerns with your, with Jim? Was it Jim?
Yeah, I speak to Jim about it, and I speak to my housemate, but I don't speak to my parents, because all their advice just seems to be that I should stick up for myself more and push my diabetes with my manager, but I just struggled knowing how to have that conversation.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Has this ever been an issue in the past? With previous employment?
No.
No? Okay. So your concerns, let me just check that I've got this correct. Your concerns about remaining or returning to work is you're not getting enough hours currently, and you're also, you feel worried that if you talk about or push the fact that you need these breaks, that they're going to reduce your hours completely.
Yeah.
Okay. Reduce hours. Okay. And did they offer any other reasonable adjustments? Was it just the one to go to another store, which is obviously an hour away, which is a very long way to be expected to travel?
Yeah, it was just that.
Okay. you like that support? Because I'm happy to attend a meeting with you. We can arrange that if you're happy for my involvement, and I can just be there for your emotional support.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, to give you the confidence. Obviously, I can't speak on your behalf, but I can be there just to make it a little less scary, so to speak.
Yeah, I would like that.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just make a note so I don't forget any of this. Okay. And have you thought, I know you said previously that you would like to stay at this supermarket, and obviously that would be great, but if the hours are not there and you're not able to do that, would you consider looking elsewhere for like employment?
I'd consider having further training. Like
Yeah.
I say, ultimately I want to become a nurse, but
Great.
yeah, I would look to getting another job, but I would just need some help with contacting employers.
Yeah, we can do that. And I mean, have you got an up-to-date CV?
No.
No, we can help with that as well. So what we can do is when we meet again, we can sit down, we can look at your CV, go through that together. Obviously that would be a partnership sort of approach, whereas we'll go through it, you give them information, and it'll be back and forth, and then it's your document, so you use it as you wish.
Okay.
But we want you to understand and know what's on that CV, because I think that sometimes can help empower you to know what skills you've got, because sometimes I think they get lost sometimes in the process. And with regards to your nurse training and things, have you had any information about that? Have you looked into like sort of college courses and things?
No, just what because that's what my flatmate does. I've just sort of got information from her.
Okay. Have you thought about going to college or somewhere to go and chat about that?
I'd want to go to night college, which is open which is what I'd like to do if I was to give up the pub work, is
Right.
going to night college.
Okay. Okay, so the nursing is sort of in the distant future,
Yeah.
so that's not immediate. Okay, right. So So at the minute you're working 2 jobs and you want to work 30 hours and make sure that you're not financially worse off, and you want to stay local in the area. Okay. So what do you currently do with the rest of your time? How does your standard week look?
Just 1 second. I spend a lot of time with my flatmate, but I haven't really been going out due to finances, and I've just been asking to work more at the pub to earn more money.
Okay.
I'm avoiding some of my friends who I think will say that I need to stand up for myself more. I like being in the flat and watching TV, but it's sometimes difficult to concentrate on the TV if I'm worrying about the next day.
Okay. Again, have you talked to Jim about them anxieties and ways that you can deal with that?
Yeah,
Build some coping mechanisms?
I spoke to Jim about it,
Okay.
and we're working on that together.
Fantastic, that's great to hear. Sometimes it takes time. Some of us are more assertive than others, and sometimes it does take time. It's like a skill that you need to develop, and it's just practice. And it isn't. If you're not used to being like that, it does. You sometimes do need that bit of extra support,
Yeah.
which is obviously why I'm more than happy to attend like a meeting with your employer. So what are your hopes with regarding work? You said obviously at the minute we're looking at a minimum of 30 hours, minimum of 15,000 to earn, so you can stay with your flat, and then in the long term you want to go to nursing.
Yeah.
Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is work to you?
Is 10 extremely long?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, not 1 not at all, 10 extremely.
Yeah, 10.
Fantastic, that's what we like to hear. And why have you agreed to meet now? Why have you come to Wellbeing now? Why are you accessing the support?
Because I like my job in the store and I like my workmates, but I just need more money, and the anxiety is getting quite bad. I feel like I've been really ill sometimes at work, feeling sick and headachy just going in.
Yeah, sure.
And sometimes seeing my manager and checking my bank account, all of that just makes me feel really rubbish.
Yeah. And with regards to finance, have you had any support with managing bills and things like that? Because obviously the Citizens Advice are very, very good at like dealing with money management, and they can give you some advice there. So I would definitely say if finances are a difficult area, there may be access there, and there might be some benefits that you're entitled to.
Yes,
they might have that
please.
further information. So,
Yeah.
do you know where the local Citizens Advice Bureau is?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so I definitely recommend making an appointment with them. Okay, so what do you think could help increase your confidence?
I need help explaining my mental health and explaining my diabetes more.
Yep.
I just want, and the main thing of confidence is help me to sort out my work problems.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Is there anything else relevant to your work issue that you haven't mentioned?
No.
Okay. Anything else you want to add or talk about? Okay. Right, so if we go on to goals now, we're going to have a look at like some short term and medium and long term. So your short term goal is we need to arrange a meeting, don't we, to get this sorted out with your manager. And what I would suggest we do is we put that in writing.
Okay.
So we've got a record of that, and we've got evidence to say, look, this is the process that we're going down, because obviously you've got that, like I said before, your employers have got a duty of care, so we're not going in there demanding all different things. We just want to open that dialogue, have that communication, and just say, look, these are the issues. We want to focus on whether there is hours, whether there is more hours, and look at this 0-hour contract information. And obviously if you go to Citizens Advice, they might be able to help you with, like, take the pressure off that finance, because there may be access to support that you can find for financial issues. So we can address that. If they haven't got the position, because sometimes companies don't have the hours, then obviously there's not going to be much they could do about it. They've obviously offered you to travel somewhere else, but that's not practical for you, which is fine, absolutely fine. You're well within your rights to say no, and I'll be there to like be that buffer, so you don't worry that they are going to suddenly take all those hours away, because obviously we can then challenge that and say, look, what is happening, but that's very much further down the road.
Yeah, because I just wanted to find out if I had to move stores, like if I have to do what my manager says. That's made me feel better.
Yeah, no, if it's not practical for you, then you're well within your rights to refuse that. And obviously, if that's going to be detrimental to your well-being, then we wouldn't advise that, or I wouldn't advise that anyway.
Yeah.
It's important to take care of yourself within work and your well-being. So we can do that. We can discuss the hours, and we can definitely talk about how we need to factor in your breaks because of the medical need, because that is paramount importance. We need to make sure that as an employer they are looking after you and doing as much as they can to protect you. Okay. So we can definitely discuss that and talk about regular breaks and see what they suggest really, and I can like go away and have a look at some reasonable adjustments that we could put into place and trying to manage that basically. And then your long term was nurse training.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Okay. So for our action plan to do next, okay, so what I'll do is I'll start working. Do you have a draft CV or do you have any CV, even if it's not up to date?
I've got a CV.
Okay, are you able to email that to me?
Yeah.
Fantastic. You're able to use computers and email that? Fantastic. Okay, so if you can email your CV, so that's one task I need you to do. And then I'll start working on that, and then what I'll do is I'll do a draft, and then I'll send it back to you, and then get you to check it, and then you can add bits to it, and we'll do that like that if you're happy to work that way.
Yeah, I don't need help with application forms. I might do it in the future when I go to college, but the CV would be helpful.
Yeah, fantastic. You can use it as a basis, and if during our working together, if you do